welcome to another video, and in this video I want to share what I've learned from going out regularly for the past 2 months. Now for the past 2 months I've been going out 5 days a week because I have my live training programs coming up real soon, and for the past 2 months I've been meeting a lot of people in the field. My friends have been going out to game, friends who didn't know about game have also been going out to game, and I've been meeting a lot of people in the field who are trying to take action, who are trying to work on themselves, trying to learn cold approach pickup. And based on that, I decided I'll make this video to share with you my experience of going out for 2 months, meeting multiple women. I don't really have a count of how many people I've met, how many people I've met in the past 2 months, and it has been an amazing journey. And I was actually seeing the difference between my journey and another guy's journey, guy who's just started learning pickup. And I wanted to break down some of the things that I recognized which are stopping him from growth. And I met a lot of people in the field. I met, maybe, if you're watching this, you met me in Delhi. If you stay in Delhi, you've met me outside going in the daytime or in the nighttime. So this video is gonna help you, learn about 2 major things that are missing in a lot of beginners, even intermediate guys' game. By intermediate, I mean people who've been doing game for 2 to 3 years. Now, guys, understand, once you fix these 2 things, the rest will fall into its place. Alright, and I'll tell you how exactly. Now, these 2 issues are very simple. It's all about consistency and dedication. What do I mean by consistency? Consistency, I mean hitting the field regularly, alright? Building that social momentum, going out at least 3 to 5 days a week. And I see this problem with a lot of people because just because they don't have the consistency, they have a lot of negative beliefs, a lot of negative thoughts when they're out there in the field. And I'll share a short story. So I was out there in another place in Delhi, and I was chilling with my friends, and I was approaching a few girls, and this guy just approached me. He's like, "Hey man, are you into this pickup thing? I've seen your videos, I guess." And usually when this happens, I just greet the person. I tell him, "Hey, yeah, I am. Have a great night." But this person is like, "Hey, this shit really doesn't work. It only works for you because you're good looking, right?" And this guy, he's a decent looking guy himself. He's just standing there, and I'm like, "Okay man, if that's what you think, why don't you do an approach with me? Let's do a couple of approaches and let's see if that's the reality. Let me break down your limiting beliefs." And this guy's like, "No man, I don't think it's gonna work out. It's easy for you. You're good looking and you look really good, and you can talk to women." And I'm like, "Okay, let's do an approach. Let's do an approach. Let's not talk about this. Let's not stand there on the corner, talk 2 guys just talking about this. Let's do an approach, right?" So I approach a girl, and the guy doesn't follow, right? The guy doesn't come in, and it was, I think, a 3-4 set. So I managed a 3-4 set. And I was out there with a guy who doesn't know anything about game, my neighbor, right? So I didn't expect my neighbor to come in, but he came in instead of that guy who has been learning about pickup actively, so to speak. And he was just standing over there and then commenting, "Hey, it's all because of your looks." I'm like, "Hey, listen, you can stand there and comment, but if you don't follow the process, if you don't approach a girl, how do you expect the girl to come to you? It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Even if you're good looking, no matter you're 6'2", 6'3", that's not going to happen." So you have to fucking move your ass from the bar, approach the girl. Simple as that. If you don't follow the process, you're not going to get the results. And then, guys, people start backward rationalizing. Like, okay, maybe this guy is getting results because he's good looking. He's dressed sharp, he's getting results. But you have to understand, that is all good. That is a bonus, right? If I look good, that is a bonus. I always tell you, work on your, presentability. But apart from that, you also have to see the amount of action I take. Now, when I was talking to those girls, and funny enough, it was a very good night that night. I was talking to those girls, right? This guy is just standing on the corner looking at the conversation. I don't think he did even a single approach. And if you don't do an approach when you're out there in the field, what will happen is you'll go into a negative thought loop or negative, thought pattern, and you'll just start thinking very negatively about stuff. This is one of the major reasons why people are not consistent. And by consistent, I don't mean you need to go to a gaming location. That's not just being consistent. By consistency in game, I mean that you have to go out there and you have to approach people. Alright, you have to go out there, you have to approach at least 10 people a day, 10 people in one gaming session. That's the minimum that you should do. So don't think that, hey, I just went out gaming, I went out to the field, I went to a mall, I went to a bar, I went to a coffee shop. I didn't take any action, but I did go out. That's not being consistent, that's just going out, right? I feel you can go out anywhere in the world, but if you're not practicing game, you're not learning game, if you're not approaching a girl, you're not learning about cold approach pickup. So that's what I said to him, and Still, the guy was just looking over there, looking at us. Maybe he just wanted to see that night, how I'm gaming and what I'm doing. That's completely fine with me. But guys, if you are that guy, who goes out there, who doesn't do an approach, and he thinks that you're learning something, that's all mental masturbation again. It's just some fantasy world you're living in. Don't do that. You're wasting your time, right? You're wasting your time when you're in the field. So another reason for that is, backward rationalization, as I just said. People backward rationalize, okay, I'm not doing this because I look like this. And then you build a negative self-identity, right? If I'm thinking, hey, I'm not good looking, this guy's getting the results because he's good looking, maybe it's my shirt, I'm not wearing a nice shirt, maybe I have a little bit of stomach, right? If I'm thinking about all of these things, then I'm creating a negative self-identity. And that identity is not going to help you in game. That negative self-identity is not going to help you in life either. So don't do that, all right? Just start taking action and don't judge yourself before you take action. I see a lot of people who are just like, hey, I can't do this. This is too hard. And I ask them, how many approaches have you done? 5. You can't judge yourself based on 5 approaches. You can't control each and every outcome of every approach. The first thing I tell you is because maybe the girl is having a bad day. So maybe 5 girls are having a bad day and you just manage to approach those 5, right? It's a less probability, but that can happen. And then they all reject you. So you can't really judge yourself based on 5 approaches. I would say at least 500 approaches, if you want to judge yourself, if you want to see, okay, I'm not really doing this thing correctly, at least have, 200 to 500 approaches, man, I would say. Minimum before you start judging yourself. Now, another reason why a lot of people say that they're not consistent is because they don't have time. And this is another part of backward rationalization. They rationalize, okay, I don't have time because what am I going to do? I'm going to go out and get rejected, right? This is again another thing they attach with their identity. Never do that. Never take anything personally in pickup. If you're going out, if you're approaching girls, you're getting rejected. It doesn't really matter. Now, people tell me they don't have time, but I was managing a couple of things, when I was doing pickup when I was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, right? I was managing a lot of things and I was doing pickup as well. My location from the city is 1 hour away. So I go there, I do my game, I come back, right? You have to make time for things that are important to you. I will never say I don't have time to anyone. If I say, hey man, I don't have time, that's probably because I don't want to talk to you. You're not on my priority. Alright, so if you keep pick up at your priority, if you're dedicated, that's why I said the second thing is dedication. If you're dedicated, then you will keep it on your priority and you will make the time. Alright, don't tell me you don't have the time because I've trained a lot of very busy professionals, a lot of very famous people who rarely have the time, and even if they have the time, when they go out, they face a lot of problems because they're so famous that a lot of people approach them. So I've trained those people, I've coached those kind of people who don't have the time at all. Right, and they still make the time. So if you're saying that I'm a student, I'm doing my engineering, I'm studying for my UPSC exams, I don't care. You do what you have to do, right? But don't say that you don't have time. Say that it's not important for me, so I'm not taking out the time. Because everything that is important in your life, imagine if Angelina Jolie texted you today, right? Hey, you want to go out on a date? Would you say I don't have fucking time?
Invite me to dinner, Frank.
What? Would you like to have dinner?
And you make time for that shit, right? So understand that you will make time for things that are important to you. Don't use this as a backward rationalization. I understand if it's not your priority at that point of time, maybe you have your exams coming up, maybe you have something coming up, you have to prioritize your own things according to your life. But for me, when I started game, I was highly dedicated. And I'll tell you why I was dedicated. Now, I had a lot of pain points with women. I had been cheated upon. I had bad relationships in the past, and I decided that I'm never going to fall in this position. And any guy who falls in this position, I'm going to be helpful for him. I'm going to help him because I will understand social dynamics. I'll understand about dating. So it was my pain point which pushed me, right? Which made me more dedicated over the period of time. So that pain point really made me more dedicated towards my game. And I had a burning desire to get good at this because I did not want anyone to fall in the position I was, to feel the way I was feeling at that point of time. And that's why I started learning cold approach pickup. Initially, I didn't have any plans of being a coach, but I just wanted to coach my friends, informal coaching, that help people around. And I didn't have formal plans of being a coach. But that being said, that is what made me dedicated. And that's what they say, the lowest of your lows will get you to the highest of your highs. And that just means that if you're getting rejected, rather than thinking that, oh, I got rejected, something wrong in me, it should make you want it more. Hey, I got rejected. What did I do wrong? I want to learn more. So you have to change your perception completely for game. You have to understand whatever you perceive to be real is going to be real over the period of time. If you perceive to be that, hey, I'm a low value guy, I'm not good looking, I can't talk to girls, you will become that guy over the period of time. The more you reinforce that negative thought loop, you will become that guy. The more you reinforce positive thought loops, you'll become that guy. For example, I'll give you a small example. When I started learning game, I was 17 years old. I went to Singapore clubs with big buffed up guys, and I also had a lot of negative self beliefs like I'm a scrawny guy, I'm a nerd, I wear specs, girls won't be attracted to me, these guys are much better looking than me. And with all those beliefs, even though when I had these beliefs, I used to go in the club and I never used to tell my own self this. Because I know in the field, if I tell myself, hey, I suck, I do this, I'll be standing in the corner. So when I'm in the field, I'm just reinforcing positive beliefs. Like if I go in the club, I'm like, hey, I'm home. While I felt so nervous while I was in the club. But over the period of time, repeating all of these small things and reinforcing that positive belief really helped me to master the craft. Because guys, another thing I do is whenever I'm, going to clubs, going to places, going to bars, going to daytime environments, I'm always thinking, hey, I'm at ease in this environment, I'm at home. Even though I'm nervous, even though I'm anxious, I'm saying those things and it brings down a lot of nervousness and anxiousness. And over the period of time, I started believing that the club was home. I started believing that the day game environments were my home. And when I was at home, I was not so comfortable. I always wanted to go out. That's how I addicted my mind to just going out regularly, working on myself, working on the skill, and getting you all of this information. So what are some of the reasons that hold you back from that dedication, that burning desire of learning game? Now, a lot of things are, if you depend on external stimulus, if you depend on a girl's responses, then you're not going to be dedicated enough. Because once you have a negative reference experience, you'll come back home and you'll be like, oh, I don't want to do this again. My objective of learning game was completely inside. It was to change my situation in life and not let anyone fall in this situation. That's the reason I was so dedicated when I was learning this. I used to go out at least 6 days a week on a regular basis for 3.5 years. So that was my reason for dedication. And if your reason is depending on something external, guys, you have to understand that's probably gonna backfire. It's probably gonna backfire because you're gonna leave game, you're not gonna be that dedicated. And another reason is because people believe in motivation a lot. I am talking to a couple of clients and they're like, hey man, can you motivate me to go out? But the thing you don't understand is I can motivate you, I can pump you up to go out, but if you don't pump your own state up to go out, you'll always need you're still depending on something external. Now, motivation is very short-lived. I can be motivated in this week. Next week, I'm like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do this. But if I make a lifestyle change, if I add those 5 days in my calendar in a way where I'm taking action regularly, I'm going out, approaching people, and that's just my lifestyle, then it's a lifestyle change. It's more about dedication and discipline rather than, just motivation. And motivation is very short-lived. So do not depend on motivation because, I can motivate you to go out right now. You go out, you get rejected a couple of times. You'll come home, you'll be like, oh, motivation is very short-lived. So make a discipline out of it. So I strongly recommend to overcome all of this discipline problems, you read The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy. That's a book that's amazing. That'll help you build that discipline that is required to actually get good at this. So you have to make sure that you don't rely on external stimulus, but you rely in your own self. And you also have to understand that motivation is short-lived, while discipline can get you to places where motivation can't. So how can you overcome all of this and have an amazing experience when you go out? Now, the first thing is, don't be addicted to negative thoughts. Stop that negative thought loop. And I'll tell you a short story. I went with my friend to Bali, Indonesia. And over there, he's serving the food and he's like, oh, this food is so bad, it's too oily. We go to another location, he's like, it's too hot, man, I'm not enjoying, I'm not having fun. And everywhere we go, he had some or the other issue. Alright, so what it means is he has addicted his mind to negativity. So you have to be aware of your own self, of your own thoughts. Okay, if you have been addicted to negativity, then you have to understand that there are certain things that you need to do. First of all, try the positively reframe challenge. And what it means is, for the next 7 days, as soon as a negative thought enters your mind, reframe it into a positive thought and say something positive about it, the negative thought. So you're trying to shift your brain, you're trying to manage your negative thoughts in a way where you're trying to be more positive about it. And guys, try this for 7 days. It's going to be one of the toughest things that you've ever done in your life because you will realize just how much negative thoughts we have in a day. Alright, you'll realize that how much we are addicted to negativity, we are addicted to, drama, addicted to all of these things which really don't matter, right? If you really want to be good at game, be analytical, be observant, and be self-aware that, okay, these are the issues that I'm facing, whether it's being negative, all right? Just don't judge yourself. Don't be like, oh, I'm fucking negative, fuck me, fuck this world, and that's not going to help. So understand, I'm addicted to negativity, that's all right. I have to shift. I have to make a shift in my mind, make a shift in my thought pattern so I can get better results. Another thing is be real to yourself. And what I mean by being real to yourself is when you go out in the field, you do back-to-back approaches, you do at least 10 approaches, and you be real to yourself. Hey, I went out, I did approaches. It's not like I went out and I didn't do anything, I was just standing there. So be real to yourself. And for that, you can read another book which has a very great lesson which I still follow. It's David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. In that book, he has one slight mission that he does. When he comes back home, he looks in the mirror and he gives himself an honest review and slaps himself as well if he's done something wrong. And that's something I still follow. So if I'm having a bad gaming night or whatever, I go back to the mirror, I look at myself and I talk to myself. Hey Arnav, why are you having a bad gaming night? Are you a little bitch? Maybe you have not done enough approaches. What is happening in your mind? Are you trying to be a little bitch, coming up with excuses and backward rationalization? I do what's required, alright? I do what's required to take action. That book really will help you with your mindset. It's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I'll make sure to add some links, or I'll make sure to add the book name in the description below. Okay, another thing is don't place girls on a pedestal, because I see a lot of people placing the girls on a pedestal, and once you place the girls on a pedestal, they're like, okay, I might want to talk to her, but she might not want to talk to me. She might not reply to me, and maybe I'm wasting her time. Once you think about all of these things, you're automatically, subconsciously acting as a low-value person. And what will she do? She'll be like, okay, I don't want to talk to him because he thinks so low of himself. So rather than putting the girls on a pedestal, focus on creating a positive self-identity. Write down 10 things you can offer to a girl. I've already mentioned this once before. Write down 10 things you can offer to a girl which are non-monetary, non-financial. Alright, she shouldn't be with you because of materialistic things. So write down 10 things you can offer to her, and I'll create a short video on it, maybe in some time. So write down 10 things, what you can offer to a girl. Guys, understand, it can be as simple as, positive emotions. It can be as simple as just being honest and truthful, because you don't know, what holds value for that particular girl. So write down 10 things, and once you write it down, read it before your gaming session, because this will help you build that positive self-identity, that you're not just a loner who's trying to pick up some girls, but you're actually a person who can add value in your life. So go out there, test these things, and let me know how it goes in the comment section below.